This is the limitless Keith Lee.
This is Brody King.
This is Angel Garza.
Will Ospreay.
Hornswoggle.
Pentagon Junior.
The villain, Marty Scurll.
The Mexican Rey Fenix.
King Ricochet.
Concrete Rose, Sunny Kiss.
And I'm here to ask you to stop what you're doing, take just one moment, and bask in the glory of the Busted Wide Open.
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 Boston Wide Open.
Busted Wide Open podcast.
You're listening to the Busted Wide Open podcast, dropping the elbow on the hottest topics in sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling. With your hosts, Nick Howell and Sir Ian Dangerous. Coming to you from the Orbital Jigsaw Network Arena in sunny Southern California. Welcome everybody to BWO Live, coming to you from across the BWO universe of Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Got the hair down tonight, folks, because it's going to be that kind of show. This is episode number 323 of Busted Wide Open. My name is Nick Howell.
And I'm like Roman Reigns, only I piss off vegans because I am your tribal beef. I am Sir Ian Dangerous, and welcome
Sounds
to
kind
the
of
show.
kind of naughty there, Sir Ian Dangerous.
Hello. Welcome to the show, everybody. That's right. It's Busted Wide Open. We are here to talk about the wrestling. Smackdown on Friday nights. It just went off the air. We had a very, very, very big match with some very, very, very big implications, or at least so we were told, and not much else on the show, but it's still lots we have to talk about there, much to discuss, as well as NXT and AEW Dynamite went home to blood and guts. Nick, that's happening next week. Oh my goodness, much to discuss, but Nick, let's right now do some business and then we'll get into the show.
Yes, guys, as always, let's kick things off with a little of the business. Head over to linktree.com. Hell, do it right now while I'm talking. You'll be done by the time I'm done saying what I got to say. Linktree.com/BWO. Just click all the buttons, like all the things, follow all the accounts, subscribe where you need to. It's very easy. It's one place for you to go, linktree.com/BWO. Hey, big shout out to all of our patrons. Thank you guys so much for all of your patronage. Getting it in at the last minute. We snuck in a doozy on you last night, and if you missed it, both the video and the audio are already up on Patreon. A big. Fat 2-hour bonus episode for your eye holes and your ear holes. So if you're not in that $10 tier, you're not going to want to miss this one. We played a game
I'm still sweating.
that we're calling Who Wants to Be a
Newlywed BWO host, millionaire, something like that. Yeah.
And there's something along those lines.
Oh, God, I'm having flashbacks.
Right?
Oh, no.
So maybe I'll just mess with you while I'm doing the rest of the business and leave this up there.
Oh, God.
I'm just kidding. I just wanted to trigger your PTSD from last night.
Oh, now I need a massage. I got a stinger in my neck.
If you guys missed the bonus episode live stream last night, make sure you watch the video as well. I promise seeing the video is just as good, is 10 times better than just hearing the audio because you get our actual emoting and our reactions and all of that stuff. And we were literally sweating because of this.
Dude, seriously, stop though.
You underestimate how much a music bed can do for a production. Like, it was so much fun. Thank you, patrons, for all your patronage. There's your bonus episode for those of you at the $10 tier. If you're not there yet, bump on up. Go ahead and join up. Hell, you can even subscribe annually if you'd like for a big fat 10% discount. And go ahead and get signed up and make sure you don't miss any of the bonus episodes or any of the stuff that you also get at the $5 tier, such as every copy of the show notes for every single episode. You get to send in questions every week of every month for the Patron Mailbag AMA show on Tuesdays, and you get to play in the BWO Patron Pick'ems Championship. So it is the best way to support the show, along with your bits and subs here on Twitch. Shout out to YouTube. What's up, guys? What's up, Dave? Brad Shepard over there. What's up, Jay? You guys can throw in super chats, and we'll call them out here just the same. Thank you guys for joining us. Sir Ian Dangerous, we got a big show tonight to talk about. So let's not waste any more time and kick things off with Friday Night Smackdown. Oh, I forgot. I'm going to jump in on you real quick.
What the?
Because he did it like it's before the notifications even went out. Kyle Cotton dropped in 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tier 1 gifted subs. I cannot believe I forgot to call that out in the business because he did it so early. Oh my goodness. GGX Killa, Data Entry Tard, Uniwiz, that's Yardy, Victor Barrero, Patrick Kennedy, Amazing Raging, Malik, Wickenbat, Manuel Vizcayelos. I think I got that right. Dark Bahamut. Dark Bahamut. All of you guys got gifted tier 1 subs from Kyle Cotton. Be sure you thank Kyle Cotton for that gifted sub. Kyle,
you
coming in, dropping the gifted bomb on us. Kick the show off tonight. Guys, it's going to be that kind of show. Thank you so much, Kyle. Much love, brother. Thanks for always being one of our big ones. All right, Surrey and Dangerous, take it away. Sorry to jump in on you there.
I know it's okay because I was actually going to start off by saying before we get to SmackDown proper, one of the things that was announced on SmackDown was that next week's SmackDown is going to be Throwback SmackDown. It's going to be Retro SmackDown, full on with CRT TV graphics and everything apparently, which is really funny considering that SmackDown was on UPN. This wasn't Saturday Night Main Event, guys. This wasn't the 80s with SmackDown. SmackDown was like the late 90s when it started. I mean, yeah, still CRT TVs, but come on, it wasn't the 80s. They were like neon graphics and stuff for it.
People forget that we didn't get 16:9 HD TV until about the mid to late 2000s.
Yeah, which fine if you want to use the CRT graphics, but they were like doing 80s music and like synthwave and stuff. And
how far are we taking it back? Because SmackDown didn't exist till like 99.
Yeah, Raw didn't even exist when you guys are talking about this stuff. What are you doing? But hey, all right, they want to get the vibe for us. If you want to get us hyped for it, show us the SmackDown fist stage or like the concentric circle SmackDown stage. That'll get us hyped. Show us Doctor of Thugonomics John Cena. That'll get us hyped.
I mean, hang on. I think I can do a little something here. I mean,
I don't even want to.
I mean, if we want to do some synthwave stuff, we can totally play that because we can do throwback stuff too, right? I mean, no, we don't want to do that here. No. We can play some synthwave too and make it do our graphics all funny, and I can push buttons and make. That doesn't mean we're going to go back to like 18 years ago before we ever existed. What in the hell are they doing? I don't understand. I don't know, but they're apparently making some sort of ratings push here because their ratings have been so-so. But at the same time, this show here was abysmal, except for the main event. At least in terms of from a creative standpoint, there were some good wrestling on the show, but it was so much recaps, so many commercials. There was no rhythm to the show. There was matches that existed that had no reason to exist. The only reason to watch SmackDown tonight was for the main event, and that was a really good reason to watch the show. But it felt like they were spoon-feeding new viewers, people who'd never watched the product or hadn't seen it in a long time, and which is something that WWE does from time to time. It was a few months ago. We did the Legends Night thing on Raw. Sure, and they're trying to catch lapsed fans, but the problem is that for anyone who watches it on a regular basis, it's brutal. We're sitting here going, we've seen these matches over and over and over again. This match has no stakes. This one, why are we doing this? It makes it a garbage show for 3/4 of its runtime, and it's unfortunate. But what was fortunate was we'll get to all that crap. What was fortunate was the main event, and they built the main event like it was a big time main event. They interviewed everybody that they could get their hands on about who was going to win this main event. They had huge video packages. It was Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns, and Daniel Bryan's career on SmackDown was on the line. They made sure to clarify it's just SmackDown. It's not his whole WWE career. It is just SmackDown. And all I have to say, Nick, is alas, poor Daniel Bryan. Can I throw in some crazy wild speculation? I knew him, Howell. A fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. He hath borne WWE on his back 1,000 times, and now how abhorred in my imagination it is.
Because here we had Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns. Roman's not dropping the damn title.
No.
Come on. What was your thought?
Daniel Bryan to NXT. You heard it here first.
So this is the interesting thing. So yes, we had this main event, and it was a killer main event. Tons of commercials that interrupted it a lot, but it was still, they gave him about half an hour to go. Give it about 25 minutes. And Daniel Bryan out the gate at the front, very aggressive on Roman Reigns. Roman comes back, and then it's just back and forth. They're trading big shots. Both of them took massive spots off the top rope. Daniel Bryan got powerbombed off the top. Roman took a huge suplex off the top. And then they basically traded submissions for the finishers. You had Daniel Bryan getting the yes lock on Roman a couple times. He gave him a running knee, and Roman got his foot on the ropes to escape. Roman actually powered out of the yes lock and ultimately puts a guillotine on Daniel Bryan that makes him pass out. And you know what, Nick? Bye, Daniel Bryan. I miss you in the saddest fashion. You're 5,000 candles in the wind. He's gone. Daniel Bryan's out of here. Whether he goes to Raw or, as you said, NXT or somewhere else remains to be seen. And this is interesting because his contract is up for negotiation right now. So when you say NXT...
Yeah, sometime this fall, I think he's up.
Yeah, it's coming up. And he's openly said, I want to wrestle lots of other people. He said, I'm trying to work out something with WWE where I can go wrestle the people that I want to wrestle. Also, at the same time, he said that Kenny Omega's got a great mind for the business. Interesting juxtaposition there, Daniel. So, D-Bry's gone from SmackDown. At the end of this match, we did have some shenaniganry where Roman tried to give him a concerto. Cesaro runs out for the save. Cesaro he beats up Roman Reigns for a second, gets caught by Jey Uso, tied up in the ropes, and has to watch as Roman finally does give Daniel Bryan a concerto to send him packing from the blue brand. So what do you think is next for Daniel Bryan? Does he go backstage for a while and just work in a creative capacity? Does he go to Raw as a performer?
I think he wants to go to NXT and challenge Kushida for that North American Championship. Could you imagine that dream match?
Dream match? Brian Gargano?
Kushida.
It would be Kush. Oh, that's a cruiserweight.
Or cruiserweight title, excuse me.
We do this all the time, yeah.
When they're held by two little guys, it's kind of the same thing.
Oh, come on now.
I think there is a litany of people that Daniel Bryan would love to be in the ring with, even if just for a one-off exhibition. It doesn't even have to be a title run. But if Kushida's going to come out and hold the title up again and go open challenge, what's to stop Daniel Bryan from coming out at the Capitol Wrestling Center?
I don't see Kushida. I don't see Kushida because cruiserweight title, unless they really want to elevate the cruiserweight title, which they need to your point. That just seems like a big step down for Daniel Bryan. Unfortunately, I hate to say that. They'd have to really do some good promotional work around that to make that happen, I think, to make that work. Just Daniel Bryan going for anything in NXT, any title.
If they sent Charlotte Flair after Rhea and had her get the NXT Women's Championship, all bets are off.
Let's be clear. Rhea came for her.
I understand that.
And they had a WrestleMania match. Charlotte took it.
But she didn't have to do that. She could have just said, shoo fly. You're bothering
Charlotte
me.
came back down with the title to say, I will grace you with my presence and a title shot, and then I'll head back up to the main brand where I'm on both of those shows because I'm the champ.
I think it would be amazing.
I would like that too. I'm very curious. I think that one thing's for sure, Raw could definitely use an injection of some good creative. Daniel Bryan has shown that he's got some good creative ideas he's brought to SmackDown, from what we understand that he's helped book over there. So maybe his presence on Raw would be a good thing. Yeah. Maybe having him backstage would be a good thing on Raw.
I don't think he's done wrestling yet, but I do think he does end up in a producer role.
After he's done wrestling, you think? I wonder. I wonder if he does. I wonder if he doesn't travel around and try other places.
And if I'm really speculating, I I could look it up real quick, but I feel like it's October maybe that his contract is officially like done. I'm wondering if between him leaving SmackDown here in at the beginning of May, that gives him what, 4 months to go play in NXT. I'm down with that. And then he just takes over producer role backstage. Listen, I have no information on this, just to be clear.
No,
I'm wildly speculating and Nick booking right now, but I would die to see Daniel Bryan spend the summer in NXT. I think it would be brilliant.
Well, you're not the only one booking right now. Kyle's over in the chat. He threw in 100 bits. Thank you very much, sir. He said if Bryan does go to NXT, I want to see him start in NXT UK with Walter, Tyler Bate, A-Kid, Dragunov in absolute wars. Kyle, put it in my eye holes.
Daniel Bryan, Ilya Dragunov, Daniel Bryan, Tyler Bate, Daniel Bryan, A-Kid. Walter would just murder that small man.
They said that about Tyler Bate and Ilya Dragunov too, and look at the amazing matches we got out of that. I have a feeling Daniel Bryan was watching Walter versus Ilya Dragunov and sitting there and being like, just like a tree, I am growing. In my pants. Oh, that looks so... I have a feeling Daniel Bryan wants to get a chop from Walter.
Oh.
Like he wants to get beaten up. You know Daniel Bryan loves to get physical.
Oh, God, he loves the hamburger chest. He shows it great, you know.
Yes. Him and Walter would be the... Yeah. He might even want that. Kyle also said another 100 bits. Thank you, brother. He said Rhea came for her, a.k.a. Charlotte politicked a Rumble win, and Creative had no idea what to do option-wise outside of Rhea. To be clear, we have no idea if she politicked it or not. It did seem like the logical choice at the time. Just, we're going to give all the horsewomen all the things, and Charlotte was there. So why not?
Charlotte's had all the titles now.
So, yeah, no idea if she politicked for it or not. But, not outside of the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
And frankly, there was nothing wrong with her winning it and Rhea challenging her and then having a match and Rhea losing the match. The problem was Charlotte then not paying back the favor.
Yeah.
And them not having a storyline in place where Rhea had to then go be redeemed and come back and win it back. Now, they could be, hopefully, working on a Charlotte-Rhea story right now, but just we've seen nothing about last year in the current Charlotte and Rhea storyline. So
they've got her messing around with the tag champs again. They're doing that shit again. Kyle threw in another 100 bits earlier, said, I'm all for retro SmackDowns, but can you at least be period accurate for the show? Raw can get away with that somewhat in the early 90s debut, but I better hear the OG SmackDown intro next week.
I want to see some like 90s stuff. Like I better see some people coming out in Jankos and Doc Martens and plaid. Like bring it on.
Yep. I want Scotty Too Hottie guest appearance.
I want to Street Profits
cool
coming
with
out
Rikishi,
like, covering Backstreet Boys. Tell me why it ain't nothing but a heartache. No?
Not to be outdone by Kyle Cotton, Sheppy. Good Brad Shepard threw in 5 more gifted Tier 1 subs.
Damn, Sheppy.
Oh, Den Toto. Let's see. Eric E76. Coolest Nogar. Thief Keith. My favorite part is trying to figure out what these names are. Thief Keith Sosa. Shell said you all got gifted subs from Sheppy. Thank you guys so much for all the gifted subs. Make sure you thank Sheppy. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you very much, guys.
Let's see. One more cut from Kyle. It said SmackDown felt a bit like a house show with a Mania main event attached to it. Weirdest SmackDown I've ever watched in terms of formatting. I think that's the big takeaway from tonight.
We've seen this before where WWE concentrates so much on its main event it forgets about everything else, and that was what we saw here. The rest of the show didn't feel like it mattered to WWE, so it's kind of hard for us to spend a ton of time on it. Let's go over it. We had Apollo versus Big E in a WrestleMania rematch without the stipulation and without any of the heat or build up. Big E tried to get some sort of heat started with a promo before it, but it was nowhere near as hot as some of the ones before WrestleMania. So this match it just kind of limped into the ring. And of course, having Commander Aziz, a name that I still shake my head at every time I say it, standing ringside, lets you know that no matter how good this match was, and it was pretty good. It was, I would say it was standard Apollo versus Big E. They did some good stuff. It was
fine.
It was nice and hard hitting. It was fine. But you knew no matter what they were going to do, it was just a matter of time before Aziz got involved. And sure enough, Big E had Apollo pinned after a big ending. Aziz grabbed his foot, dragged him out of the ring, slammed him into the post, DQ finish. Apollo retains the title. Yay! After the match, they try to give the Nigerian nail to Big E. And off in the distance, you see a little Kevin Owens running towards the ring, kind of like Lancelot in Monty Python in Search for the Holy Grail. He comes running out to the ring, finally gets there, jumps Aziz, and seems like he's got it. He's got the advantage when Sami Zayn comes out of nowhere to give him a haluva kick, and then try to raise Apollo's arm and try to raise Aziz's arm, but he gets a Nigerian nail for his troubles. He's on the ground, and Apollo and Aziz stand tall at the end of this. I'm not going to lie, Nick. The match, take it or leave it. The finish, saw it coming a mile away. The aftermath?
Didn't see that coming.
I like possibly heading for a fatal four-way. Apollo, the way he carries himself, his relationship with Aziz, their facials at the end of this, the way that they laid out Sammy, all of that, very good stuff. Loved it. I loved the presentation there.
No, they'll probably end up putting him in a tag match. It'll be Sammy and Apollo versus Kevin Owens and Big E.
Oh, that's how we'll build.
Sure.
That's next week for sure. But at Backlash, do you think it will be a fatal four-way based on what we saw tonight? No. What do you think it's going to be?
I think KO and Sammy and Big E and Apollo.
You think?
Again. It's going to be the recap of WrestleMania, right?
They've already done a pretty good job of taking a lot of their matches they had at WrestleMania we thought were going to be rematches and tweaking them or changing them. So I have to say, like, I'm starting to have a little bit more hope that it's not just WrestleMania again. And now it's going to be WrestleMania
Diet
Backlash.
Mania.
Well, or
calories.
just another another B-level pay-per-view.
Yeah. Well, Backlash always is.
But here's the thing, the last couple of years have shown us that when we underestimate the B-level pay-per-views of WWE, sometimes they actually are pretty good.
Yeah, they can be.
They can be pretty good. So if we do have, I personally think we're going towards a fatal four-way. If we have two singles matches, if they're on a pay-per-view, I feel like we've seen both of them already. It would be a shame if they did it. But if they did it, if it's on a pay-per-view, all four guys are going to get to go harder in those two matches. So they might be actually pretty good. If it's a fatal four-way between these four guys, it's really going to be good. So fingers crossed.
Yeah. I'd be pleasantly surprised.
Well, that's the best kind of surprised. Unfortunately, it was not the kind of surprise that I had after our opening segment, which saw Bianca Belair come to the ring and try to cut a promo, only to be interrupted by the Dirty Dogs and Bayley, who just incessantly cackled the top of the ring, on top of the ramp, only to have, shockingly, the Street Profits come out to even the odds, and then we had a match. Nick, this is one of those things in WWE. I don't know if you feel the same way. Open with the damn match. Don't open with all this nonsense before it. I know they're trying to do it to create a commercial break, but just start with the damn match. There was nothing here that they needed to do.
Or maybe don't completely cut the legs out from under your brand new hot blue chip prospect champion before she even gets a word out with two old timers that are basically 40-year-olds that somehow still magically have the tag team championships for some reason.
They look phenomenal.
They look great. And, it was one of the first times in a long time I've looked at Robert Roode and go, damn, he looks good wearing that title. It's a shame he hadn't gotten another one yet. And I haven't felt that way since he was the NXT champion. But this frustrates me so much when you have a new champion come out and they want to cut a promo and they somehow in the back they feel like she's not going to be able to handle it and she's not good enough to open the show like that. So we got to send out the old vets, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. And then, oh no, that's not enough. Bayley's got to come out too because we don't trust Bianca to open the show. Oh no, wait, here Street Profits, they're fun and entertaining. And while you're all here after 10 minutes, why don't you just have a match? And we go to commercial and we come back and it was a fun match. It was fun.
It was a very fun match. I mean, it was
just a shit way to open the show.
WWE 101 match, but it was fun. Faces have a comeback. It's, lots of exciting moves. All right, cool. Bobby Roode eats the pin. Whatever. Shows the Street Profits could only beat the Dirty Dogs when they have Bianca Belair by their side because she is the one who brings home the gold to that household. I will say this. It was a night of splashes. You had Apollo go for a splash in the Big E match. You had Montez in this match finish it with one of his finer frog splashes. Dear God, there is no argument that man is
He
the
literally
greatest
jumped
frog
out of the
in modern
screen,
wrestling.
like up out of the frame of the camera.
Like, Eddie's got the classic. His was always flawless. RVD's was 5-star. This is 5 stars in the Tokyo Dome. Is Montez Ford? His is unreal. It's next
That dude's
level.
ups are insane. I don't know if I've seen anybody that could ever get up that high like that.
Yeah, and I love that he sells it too. Comes down and goes, "Ow, that hurt." Yeah. That's and there's an RVD documentary I believe coming up from WWE. Check it out because he really is the guy that innovated so much of this stuff. Like he is so underappreciated for a lot of this stuff that everyone does now. The way people sell now, the way people eat a DDT now, RVD did that. Everyone stands in their damn head when they eat a DDT now. RVD's the guy who did that.
So is Bayley the next challenger here? Is she going to get the title match at WrestleMania Backlash?
Yeah, but that's the problem is this match did not make her look like any more of a legitimate contender. Nope. And you'd think if you have a segment, the idea is you go into it saying, what do we need to accomplish with this segment? And the problem is this segment accomplished nothing except to say the Street Profits can beat the Dirty Dogs, but only if they have help because they lost to them 2 weeks ago. Straight up lost to him. Bianca even said, we were gold in our house to Montez before the match. She left and he lost. Straight up lost. And then this match they win, but because Bianca was helping. So I don't think this accomplished anything that they really wanted to accomplish in this match, which is unfortunate. We also got a bit from the Mysterios backstage. Hey, you guys finally have escaped American Alpha 2.0. The Alpha Academy. Now perhaps you do a title shot. And they said, yes, we're going to be the first father-son tag team champions, which I would love to see. But so who's got next? Street Profits? Mysterios? Who do you think is going to get that Backlash match?
The way they're doing it, it feels like a triple threat setup.
It was actually a trick question because the match will actually be on SmackDown before Backlash because they never do tag matches on pay-per-view.
Are you serious? Or are you just messing with me?
I'm messing with you. But you believed it. This is probably true.
I wouldn't even write it off as impossible yet. It's probably something they still might try and do.
Yeah, because they're still trying to do the whole Tamina and Natalya versus Shayna and Nia Jax thing. We got come on with me, buddy. Come on down this road. Nick wants to leave now. Nick, don't take off your headphones. Stay with me. Nia and Shayna backstage. They're interviewed. They say, "Oh yeah, you lost back-to-back weeks in singles matches to Natalya and Tamina. What does that mean?" They say, "Nothing. We're tag team. Singles matches don't matter. We can each be beaten individually. It doesn't mean a damn thing." They get beaten down backstage by Natalya and Tamina. Then we have the match itself. Even with a little bit of Reggie interference, ultimately Tamina does land. I can't even call it a snuka splash. Let's say it was a night of splashes. You had your highs and your lows. You had Montez Ford coming off the ceiling, the most beautiful frog splash you'll ever see. And then about 10 minutes later, you had Tamina jump off the top rope like she's scared of falling on her face. Put her feet down first and it's kind of like fall forward on Shayna Baszler.
I'm going to go back and capture you making that sound so I can just put it on a hot button. Yeah. Every time the Nia Jax comes out.
Every time that Tamina comes off the top.
I have no idea what's going on with the women's tag division stuff. It's I like I said last week, I've given up on it. I simply do not care anymore. Now, I'll say this. The backstage segment, I really liked that. I like aggressive challengers. I like that Natalya and Tamina came back there and whooped their ass before the match.
Got up in their face.
And yeah. I like aggression.
And that's the thing. There's aspects of this that are great. For example, you have them beat them in singles. You have them beat in tag. Now they've truly earned a tag team title shot. Here's the problem. They had the damn tag team title shot at WrestleMania.
They won a
and
gauntlet match called Tag Team Turmoil to earn that spot, and they lost.
They literally booked this backwards. You've already had this match. This literally you could have had Natalya and Tamina have the match at WrestleMania and lose, and then the Riot Squad could come in and do singles match, win, tag match, win. Okay, now we have a Backlash pay-per-view match. Or had the Riot Squad win and lose at WrestleMania, win the gauntlet and lose at WrestleMania, and then have Tamina and Natalya do it here. But to have Tamina and Natalya get over at WrestleMania, have the fans behind them, and then everyone kind of go, oh, when they lost, and then try to build something on the weeks after that in half-assed 5-minute segments, it's not going to work. No. It falls as flat on its face as Tamina would if she actually did the splash correctly.
It was so
unbelievable.
Bad.
She's never had a good splash. Like, seriously, Nick, you will admit, Tamina has some upsides. She's a lot of upsides. She's got a great presence. She has a great attitude, good facial. She can do a big girl, strong girl act in the ring. She shouldn't fly. She shouldn't, I don't care that she's Jimmy's daughter. She can't do it.
Yeah.
Don't let her do it. She can't do the splash.
And as much as Natty's husband, TJ Tyson Kidd, is producing a lot of the women's matches these days, he should be the first one going, yeah, don't do that again.
Yeah.
There has to be some encouragement either from Natty or TJ to be doing that.
The psychology of the match, the booking of the match was fine. Short, but fine. But just, no, Tamina, just no. No. Don't do the splash. Find another finish.
Kyle threw in 100 bits, said, can I just point out that Megan Morant came from being a Patriots TV reporter to interviewing Apollo, a guy with a fake Nigerian accent, a tag team with their own sugar baby, and Big E being Big E. Welcome to WWE, Megan. Talk about a contrast. Yeah. It's got to be completely different than interviewing the ever-exciting Bill Belichick.
Yes. Honestly, I would do the same thing if I were her. I mean, either you get, they are who we thought they were. Or you get Natalya and Tamina getting beat up in your face. Or Natalya and Tamina beating up Nia Jax and Shayna in your face. That sounds more entertaining to me. I'd do that.
Yeah.
Welcome on in, Megan. Don't talk to Charlie about
I love her facial expressions. Her reactions. Oh, she reacts
I feel like she gets it. Gets it. I'm not sure that I'm 100% on board, however, with Aleister Black. I want to be. I think it's PTSD. Ooh. Hold on.
That's a shift from a week ago. Complete 180.
I was so excited. But remember last week, skeptically optimistic, so hopeful. It looks great. This week, same thing again. Aleister Black still in his dark room full of candles with his big book with a nice big Disney lettering on it. Book of the Dark Father. Book of the Dark Father?
Tales of the Father.
What was it? Tales of the Dark Father. Thank you. And this week we get another shadow puppet animated little scene, interlude, all about reality, supposedly. And in this chapter, it's all about Aleister Black being a troubled teen in high school and not ever fitting in. And but dad, his dad told him, don't worry about all those fools and idiots. You're better than them. You're different than them. They will never understand. And he ends it by saying, I would try to make you understand, but I'm not going to. I could help you understand, but I'm not going to. Nick, fundamentally, this feels like when they first brought Aleister up and they had him as creepy dude in a dark room looking for people to pick a fight with him. It feels like that, only Aleister took it back, slowed it down, and said, okay, if we're going to do this, let's do it my way. I'm going to write it. Or at least I'm going to give you the words for it, the verbiage. I'm going to give you the feeling, the attitude. We'll go from there. It feels like they took it back to square one and gave it like a big production value makeover.
But it's effectively the same thing.
It is. It's a creepy guy in a room sermonizing. Except now there's more bells and whistles going on.
That's worked out so well for Bray Wyatt in the past.
Exactly. The difference here is that, I don't feel like he's trying to convert people, whereas Bray was trying to convert people. all Alistair is doing is just giving his backstory. Now, that being said, the thing that made me go, oh no, and kind of cringe this week is his backstory involves getting picked up in a Volkswagen Golf by his creepy dad at high school. That kind of kills the mystique. When they were last week, when they were all out in the forest having some sort of weird cult ritual in the little shadow play, it was really creepy and cool, right? This was not cool.
I know you were really high on this, and I didn't want to be Debbie Downer, but I don't have a lot of this feels like the same thing to me. Until I see him come out and actually deliver a promo in the ring, until I see him actually come out and participate with the rest of the roster for once in a year. I don't remember the last time I saw Aleister Black on TV in a ring. If it was easily the early part of the pandemic era. And I'm struggling.
I feel like you're being impatient. I mean, I want them to keep it in their pants until they fully establish what the new Black character is, and then bring him out and have him beat a couple of people like brutally and build it up. I don't take your time. They need to rehab the character. And there's a creepiness to this, and he's selling it really well. There's elements of this I think are very positive.
But even this has diminishing returns. Even him sitting in a room picking a fight, want somebody to pick a fight with him. The fact that it wasn't that, it was the fact that they did it for like 6 months.
Sure.
So I don't know. I'm being impatient because I have PTSD from that shit.
Right.
So I don't want them to do that all over again. I don't care that they put candles and they have a big book prop sitting up there. I want to see Aleister Black come out and do what he's really good at. The crazy jiu-jitsu stuff, the strong kicks. I want to see him just absolutely murder people and get on with it.
When's the last time you were at Disneyland? When's the last time you went to Disneyland?
I've been to Disneyland once in my life, and I hated it.
Oh, my God. Okay, Grinch.
Yeah. It was boring.
Well,
the fireworks show was cool at the end. That was it.
Pyro!
Yeah. It cost me $800 to go with my parents.
Oh, my God.
It was the worst $800 I ever spent.
Holy crap.
Between passes and fast passes and parking passes and just...
Well, this went down a road I hadn't anticipated.
Yeah.
I was just going to tell you his book looks like something that you'd buy in the Nightmare Before Christmas shop over in New Orleans Square.
I don't even know what that is.
Literally just like a diary. I know. That's
Six Flags and roller coasters, you have my attention.
Really? Pirates of the Caribbean? No. Haunted Castle? Haunted Mansion, I mean? No.
Just
you were an unhappy kid.
Jay over on YouTube nailed it. Way too many people, way too expensive.
Oh, y'all got to do Disneyland how I do it.
I don't know that I'll ever do that again.
I have my ways. I go Disneyland on off hours, off days with the Southern California pass, so it's cheap. And it's amazing. Yeah. Anyway, as they're saying in the chat, who hurt you, Nick?
I told you all the hair's down tonight. I'm spicy.
Yeah, you are spicy. You ain't kidding. Kyle Cotton over in the chat. He's also spicy. 100 bits. Thank you very much, sir. He said, I'm with Ian on Black. That's right. I look at SmackDown roster with next to no baby faces and totally dominated by heels at the moment. How on earth are you supposed to build a new heel if you have no opponents to build against him, I think. At least to face, you have options right now. This seems destined to be the Fiend talking all summer. You get a big match at SummerSlam, and then what? There is nowhere for him to go.
Yep. We did this with Bray 2 years ago. We had Firefly Funhouse every other week for 3 months, and then we finally got that amazing. Listen, if he comes out and he's got an entrance on par with the Fiend, I'm gonna eat my own foot.
It's gonna.
I promise.
If it's his same entrance, I'll be happy with it.
I don't think it'll be his same entrance. But I hope
without the creaking coming up on the coffin.
If they figure out how to completely repackage him and he comes out and blows our minds at SummerSlam in a couple of months, I'll eat my words. But I'm not into this yet. I want to be. I really want to be. I even thoroughly enjoy this style of animation. They do it with video games all the time, especially World of Warcraft.
Because it's simple. It's easy to do.
It is and it isn't. It's unique. I haven't seen them do this before. I like it.
Okay. Right now, faces on SmackDown that are singles. Big E, Cesaro,
Daniel Bryan.
That are singles. Let's see. Daniel Bryan's gone.
Well, yeah, now.
Kevin Owens. That's it. Shinsuke Nakamura. Yeah, that's singles. You have some tag teams. You have like Ray and whatnot, but not a whole. Pretty thin on the face front. That being said, after this immediate upcoming whatever's going on at Backlash, Kevin Owens, if he gets out of the Sami Zayn feud, Shinsuke Nakamura is not doing anything. Big E, all those are dudes I would love to see against Aleister Black. I'd be fine with any one of those.
Line them up.
With that being said, Nick, that was SmackDown. One match and a whole bunch of other nonsense. But definitely left us with some interesting things to ponder, such as where the hell Daniel Bryan's going and what Aleister Black's entrance is going to be like. But that's not all that happened this week, Nick, because we still got plenty more to talk about over on NXT.
This started, I believe it opened up with Kushida having a backstage segment before he came out to the ring. He comes out, and it's basically setting up the match that we're going to have. 6-man tag match. MSK joining Kushida to face off Legado de Fantasma in a monster main event. That
monster.
Full thump.
This main event.
From the moment I heard that it was announced, I was in. I was all in on it.
This might be my favorite match of the week. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to top this. This main event kicked 7 sorts of ass. And the thing I loved about it is that it surprised the hell out of me. It actually shocked me because first of all, I didn't expect this to be. It worked in like 3 acts, pretty much, right? I would tell you about them, but my notes keep crashing over here, and it's really awesome. I've had a bit of a technology day today with my Fox app also completely crashing on SmackDown, but that's the Fox app. It always does that. So let's see. So Nash Carter gets beaten down for the first part of this match.
Yeah.
Second part of the match, babyface comeback. And just by the way, the babyface comeback in this was absolute hot fire comeback. And then at the end of this was the heels taking out Kushida, putting him through a table, and then Wesley having to man up and take on all 3 of them while Carter was trying to pull himself off the floor after getting murdered on the outside. And first of all, Wesley's heroics. Normally, I hate when one guy can take on 3, but it truly felt like he was fighting for his life against these guys and just flailing.
That came through totally. I didn't feel that kind of thing that you were describing either.
Yeah, it read completely clearly that he was flailing and just barely staying alive by the skin of his teeth. Carter gets back in position, gets the tag, comes in. There's a hope spot. Kushida drags himself back to the ring, even though the medical staff is attending to him. He eats a phantom driver. Carter gets taken out. Carter gets pinned with a phantom driver. Oh, sorry, phantom driver. Let's see. Kushida gets the phantom driver, and then Carter gets pinned. So, absolutely amazing. Legado wins this pretty much clean. Yes, that was the right call. There was 2 big upset matches this week where my eyebrows went through the roof. This is one of them, and I went, that was the right call. And it felt believable. It makes Legado feel legitimate, which they needed. They needed some legitimacy because the tag team version of them has lost a lot, and Santos just lost the Cruiserweight Championship. Right. So having them get this win, which felt like they used some dirty tactics like the table and stuff, but it also felt like they were vicious in a way that the babyfaces had not anticipated.
Yeah, that's the thing that rang true for me, and that's exactly what I want them to be feared, that they will do whatever it takes to win. And the fact that they did these things, had they not put them over after doing all of these things, it would have downplayed their ability to be that dastardly, right? So
Sure.
that was one of the. I was really happy that they did get the pin, that they did get the victory here. So after doing all of that stuff, because if they had not, I would have had a lot of questions.
I loved the plausibility of this. I loved the way that they sold it, and it felt plausible. It felt realistic that these 3 champions could be beaten by 2 guys who, but 3 guys who are not champs, 1 former champ, and who was beaten by the guy who is now champion, who was in this match with him.
1 former champ and 2 guys who have basically been used as goons for the last year.
Yeah, right. So this absolutely, Legato needed this big time. And I don't feel like it hurt the babyfaces because Kushida, he looked like he was ready to fight until he died. And then they had to virtually kill MSK to put them down. Brilliant. Wonderfully booked match. I loved it.
Calthrin 100 Bits said this NXT main event would be my match of the week if not for Valkyrie and Satomura on NXT UK. It's mainly because the story of legendary veteran versus 18-month undefeated youngster, but this was great. Side note, Nash Carter has one of the greatest babyface comebacks energy-wise that I've ever seen. Yeah.
No kidding.
There's a reason that MSK is in NXT now, guys. They're phenomenal. When I saw that the old rascals were coming over, I was like, oh boy, the things are about to pick up in NXT.
I read, and this is like a partially kayfabe thing that I read, was Kushida being told by Alex Shelley, of course his partner in Time Splitters, hey, these MSK guys are coming over from that other company, Impact. Take care of them. Take good care of them. They're really good. And, the partly kayfabe thing was Kushida wanting to protect them and them, really respecting him. But then the non-kayfabe part of that, of course, is, the real history between Alex Shelley and Kushida. Kushida having a real history where he's a big, proponent of cruiserweight wrestling and of littler guy wrestling, junior heavyweight wrestling. And here's these 2 smaller guys. If they're working with Kushida, he's going to be able to teach them a lot.
Yep.
And they seem like they're just sponges for that kind
Even
of information.
Escobar, right? And Raul Mendoza is at this point
very different styles.
I mean, it's just there's so much veteranship in that ring between Kushida, Escobar, Raul Mendoza, and even Joaquin Wilde to an extent. They've all been around for a while. And listen, the Rascals are no slouch. MSK is no slouch. They know what they're doing. But the fact that you got all of these guys with all of this experience in the ring, this was absolutely brilliant.
I really want to see what kind of effect Kushida will have on Nash Carter, because Nash also has an MMA background. So I'd be very curious to see if Kushida gives him some of that crossover information. Did you feel, even though we just kind of lathered all over this match here, do you feel like they still had stuff, they had gears they didn't touch in this match?
Oh, yeah, you're always going to have that in a 6-man tag. It's a 6-man tag is going to be about babyface comebacks and everybody getting their shit in. But there was still, I can still see matches between Kushida and Escobar. No.
I mean, even for this 6-man babyface, 6-man tag match here, we went the babyface comebacks and all that. I felt like this match could have been ratcheted up even further. Sure. If they'd wanted to. It was just a TV main event and not a pay-per-view main event. That's the level these guys are working at, and that's the kind of talent you got.
This is one of those rare things where normally if you're driving a stick, you've got 5 gears. There's a 6th gear in some cars. There's a 6th gear in this
all
match.
These dudes have a 6th gear.
Oh man, and they just didn't get there. And you know what? Frankly, good for them. Save it for when you get an opportunity, because that's when you need to bring it out. Absolutely. Esme resubscribed with a tier 1 for 5 months. She says subversary. I don't know what this is, but neat. Esme, if you get 6 months in a row, you get a special badge, and you get 12 months in a row, you get a special badge. So that's what it is. But you're at 5 months. You got your 3 pieces of chicken. At your next month, you get a bucket of chicken. Yeah. Badges.
We don't need no stinking badges. What we do need is more Mercedes Martinez versus Dakota Kai, because that match got cut off too soon, and it was looking really good. Now, we haven't seen these two face each other since, I believe, Shine in 2013, back when Dakota Kai was called Evie.
Good Lord.
That's the last. Yeah, it was going back a ways. But they still had great chemistry. Great chemistry. Raquel Gonzalez, of course, on the outside.
Was it Shine or Rise? I
think it was Shine.
There was that other promotion that they did in L.A., South L.A., at the Forum or something called Rise. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, I don't think that Evie ever got there, though.
Okay.
Check me though. As you would expect, Raquel Gonzalez got involved in the finish, ended up tossing Mercedes Martinez into the barricade, into the chain link of NXT. And next week we are going to get Mercedes Martinez versus Raquel Gonzalez. Nick, I have to ask, we've been worried about this. Does Dakota Kai still feel like the Jey Uso to Raquel Gonzalez, like the second, like the goon, the henchman? Like, as much as they try to make her an equal, does she still feel lesser than Raquel Gonzalez?
At this point, yes. Yeah, unfortunately. And it has been. You and I were. There was a point where Dakota was babyface before she got injured, before she turned on Tegan. There was a point where we were like, "Oh my God, Dakota Kai!" Like, we very high on Dakota Kai, Team Kick, right? And after all of that, like, there was no coming back for her after the injury and the turn. Like, once she paired up with Raquel was like, it was like a little Shawn Michaels and Diesel kind of setup going on. And Diesel got bigger, right? Raquel Gonzalez, that's a big deal. And now she's the champion. Yeah. And Dakota Kai, it's not your turn right now, darling. It is. If you need to, and I think she's doing everything that she's doing is so right, and she's doing it all to make Raquel look even better. She's having the match with Mercedes Martinez. Raquel Gonzalez is on the outside, right? So all of this is, I absolutely love this.
I dig it. I just feel like it's not going to be good for Dakota long term. Yeah. And at some point, she's going to have to break away and do her own thing.
I don't want to compare apples and oranges, but we saw Johnny and Ciampa both get their opportunities after all of that stuff. A different situation.
Different dynamic.
I understand different.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, both of them got their chance, right? Sure. I do see a point where one of them turns on each other. And then you get Dakota versus Raquel for the title, a year from now.
Sure, Dakota can turn back face. Sure. Or whatever. They need more faces. Yeah. So why not? But that's the thing. Right now, in this particular setup, it definitely feels like Dakota is just kind of the running mate of Raquel Gonzalez. The other thing I want to say, Nick, is something that really I noticed in this match and just kind of just popped into my head. And that is, there is not a single woman on the main roster who feels as badass as some of these women in NXT, and just the way they present them. Raquel feels like an absolute beast. Mercedes Martinez feels like a Mortal Kombat character when she comes out. Even Dakota Kai, little willowy Dakota Kai, feels like she could kick your head off. Yeah. Like, she feels like she's just a mean, vicious little Tasmanian devil.
She's Chun-Li in Street Fighter.
Sure.
Like, she's gonna go. She's gonna do a bunch of crazy spinny kicks and just run circles around you.
Right. Main roster, you don't have anyone on the women's roster who feels like a badass. The closest they have right now, I hate to say it, is Tamina.
I mean, you got Rhea up there now.
But Rhea's smirking all the time now and just acting all cocky and everything, and being ringside and laughing and getting taken out by Charlotte Flair. Like, it's not the same feeling as badass Rhea in NXT. And I know that we always do this with, like, main roster versus NXT. I know. But it's just worth noting this specific thing. The way that they present their women in both brands. And it's just a specific thing that I notice where I go, you know what? They're letting the women in NXT present themselves similar to the guys in that they're badass, strong fighters. They're not women first, fighters second, if that makes sense. It's just they're there to fight.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Gender be damned.
I mean, you've got the stuff going on with Indy and Loomis, and that's kind of fun. And there's certainly things outside of that, right?
Other stuff, but I'm saying, like, the high water mark for it in NXT is so vastly higher than in main roster WWE.
Yeah. No, I agree. There's just enough of it on NXT of the soap opera-y kind of stuff. It's just it's completely inverse on the main roster.
There's a little bit of sour cream on that taco, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. Kyle is on a tear tonight. Uh-oh. Kyle gifted another, actually 6 tier 1 subs. Holy smokes, guys. If you got a gifted sub from Kyle Cotton, make sure you say thanks to Kyle. Kyle, thank you very much, man. Backup Ninja.
Thank you.
Ray Wheelchair, Maddie Sullivan, Jared Romero, RK Shuttleworth, all got gifted subs, as well as Captain Lyle Crocodile. Is that our Lyle? Our Arn Anderson?
I don't know.
He also threw in 100 bits that I have to disagree with you guys on Dakota. With all the subtle wheeze in referring to herself and Raquel, and with Wade on commentary justifying that. I feel Raquel is in a Bayley situation where Dakota is basically her version of Asuka a few months later taking the title, and Raquel gets called up sooner than later. Too much little slow burn stuff that makes me feel Dakota is next before some of the more experienced women like Toni and Raquel get called up. Yeah, I think that turn that I was referencing earlier, the gut feeling is that Dakota's going to get jealous and get pissed off. I think we're actually going to see the face turn from Raquel.
Huh. I'm going to go on record and say Dakota's never going to be women's champ. Maybe tag champ. Well, she was tag champ, but she's never going to be women's champ.
Hot take. She was tag champ for one night.
Yeah, that still counts.
Right. It technically, yes.
That's her one title.
You're still a former tag team champion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Still counts.
Thank you, Kyle, so much for all the gifted subs and bits, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Well, speaking of belts, Johnny Gargano is your North American champion. And to get to him, you've got to go through Austin Theory. That's because Austin Theory set up a match where Bronson Reed had to go through him to get to Gargano last week. Gargano and Candice were hanging out backstage watching Bronson go to the ring, staring him down like the bullies in the back of the classroom, like, where are you going, big man? See you next week, I guess, if you beat Austin. Austin pops out from behind the wall going, what are you guys doing in the dark? Brilliant. Loved it. And then hops out there to go have a match. Goes and have a match with Bronson Reed. Of course, Johnny and Candice come out as well as a pouting Indy Hartwell. She's so sad. Things with Dexter Lumis are not going well.
No.
Apparently.
No. I think that's part of the game, though, is like she's shooing him away now. She doesn't want anything to do with it. He's pursuing her now. Or at least trying to figure out what's going on.
I can't tell if I love the Indy and Loomis story or if I hate it.
I'm currently in love with it. We'll see what happens next week.
It's definitely one of those tightrope things where it's just so weird. It's so bizarre, and I really am not sure what's going on with it week to week, but they keep surprising me and doing this new and different things with it that I keep being like, okay, what next?
I'm in that weird situation where I feel like a lot of guys, like in high school or college, maybe even as adults, went through this situation where you think a girl was coming on to you. You're not really sure, but now that you realize, oh yeah, she was actually coming on to me. Maybe I should pursue her. And now you're going around and like, oh, I think you were trying to hit on me. No, I actually wasn't. Go away. But you're really cute, so maybe I will go out with you.
Yeah.
Like,
misconnections.
Right.
Yeah. They feel like a couple of horny teenagers who just can't figure out what signals they're getting because they've got just no social skills.
Right, exactly. I kind of
in that sense, it's kind of adorable.
Yeah, it is.
It's also absolutely ridiculous. But on a show where you have a little bit of everything, you have that main event, and you've also, on the other side of things, got, you know, you open with Mercedes and Dakota and everything going on there. Everything else we're going to talk about. Fine. If you want a little bit of this, cool. It's a smorgasbord.
Yep.
Let's do it.
I love it.
But Bronson Reed ultimately does take out Austin Theory. Beautiful, beautiful tsunami. Speaking of splashes, he even got a little angle turn in midair on this one. I don't know if you saw that. It was beautiful. So Bronson Reed,
I still think you should
another match.
You should have strapped him at Stand and Deliver. I still think
that's what I was going to say.
I was so 100% confident in that pick.
But so do they strap him next week or whenever he gets Johnny Gargano? Like, what do you do?
It feels less
Dexter
significant now. It feels like we might be past that point of no return. Maybe not this week, but if we don't do it next, I feel bad.
You've got Pete Dunne gunning for gold. Maybe you put it on Bronson, and then his first opponent's Pete Dunne. That doesn't seem to make sense. I feel like Pete needs a big title win. Like I'm not sure.
I think Pete Dunne needs Daniel Bryan to wrestle with in a submission match.
Stop it.
Jacob said it earlier in the chat. I'm gonna give him credit. That's exactly where my head's going. Pete Dunne's out here going, I'm the baddest man ever in NXT. I need a challenger. Come and get it.
Is there no one else? Yeah.
Cal threw in 100 bits, said, you talk too much. I just broke down laughing and could hear Matthew in that moment. You talk too much, homeboy. You never shut up.
You talk too much.
Oh, boy, you never shut up. Abraham
Rabble,
Castillo threw in 20 bucks into the tip jar.
Abraham.
Thank you very much, man. He said so Nick can make new memories at Disney.
Yeah.
That's enough to cover the parking pass.
That is true.
Barely.
That's parking. That's parking.
It's like $25 just to park your car.
That's a large soda.
I hate California so much.
I love Disneyland. Oh, shut up.
I love LA. I miss LA.
It's wonderful here.
I hate California.
What?
The state is so upside down.
Completely backwards. Yeah. We're not doing this right now, Nick.
All right.
We're not doing this right now. What we are doing is talking about Imperium.
Yes.
Because Imperium had a match with Killian Dane and Drake Maverick, the oddest couple that ever odded a couple. And there's cracks in that already. Drake Maverick feels like Killian Dane's never there for him when he goes for a tag. And that story played out in this match where he got beaten down all match, and then he went for a tag against Killian Dane, and Killian Dane, out of his eyesight, got pulled off the ring apron, and he wasn't there to get the tag, so poor little Drake Maverick got beaten down even more. He even had his pants ripped open. So embarrassing. So what do you get for wearing jeans in a wrestling match? Which actually I thought might have been storyline, because Imperium's very much about the purity of wrestling. Like, you're wrestling in jeans? You Philistine. I shall beat you with your silly belt.
They just ripped his jeans off and started like whipping him with them. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
9!
How do you say jeans in German?
Mein Leben.
Jeans.
Jeans.
It's
there you go.
Jeans.
Aren't you glad you spent that time?
Yeah, right. I'll never get that 10 seconds back.
Nor will we all. Nor will Dane and Maverick get this win back because they got thoroughly beaten down here. Both of them.
Is there a future for Dane and Maverick? That's my question.
I don't know, and I'm curious where they're going with this semi-breakup angle and them having issues. But I'm also curious what happened with Alexander Wolf, who at one point picked up a chair and looked like he was going to do a chair shot outside, and everyone got pissed off at him. All those other guys that got pissed off at him for, I guess, breaking the rules, and the match is not sacred. Don't do that. I thought Wolf was supposed to be like the new, supposed to revitalize Imperium. So I'm not sure what's going on there. If there's cracks in Imperium too. A little bit of the story beats here I liked, setting up things for later.
Yeah, see where it goes.
Get Imperium gets a win. They need to get a win. What more legitimate tag teams, the better. Dane Maverick's going off, and we know they've had their shot. They can go off and have whatever story they're doing. So
I don't understand. I mean, we're doing the story with Legato, but I feel like that there are bigger contenders like Imperium, like Grizzled Young Veterans. Why are we not having the champions MSK fight with them instead of doing six-man matches with Kushida? It just that's my only confusion.
I'm not complaining.
I'm not mad at any of it. Don't get me wrong.
No,
I love all of these matches.
Well, and again, Legato just got a huge come up. Now they feel legitimate as hell.
Yeah.
Imperium continues its winning ways. They feel legitimate. And then on the other side of things, you mentioned Grizzled Young Vets. Well, they're getting into a feud with Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher, because they came out to cut a promo about why aren't we getting tag title shots, as you just asked. And Ciampa comes out to say, hey, you're Grizzled Young veterans. We're Grizzled Old veterans. What do you know? Let's have a match. And the Grizzled Young Vets get beat down by Old Man Ciampa and Toothless Timmy. I hate those nicknames so much for these guys. It felt like Ciampa and Thatcher were a little goofy. Am I crazy in thinking that? Is that the right direction to go for them right now, is to be kind of not as they're serious. I don't want to say they're not serious. Do you know where I'm going with this? Like they felt like they were a little bit arch, snide, not taking things too seriously.
Are they? I just don't see either one of them as faces, and they're the face team in this. I think that's the weird dynamic that might be going on.
That is odd too. I don't know if they know how to act as faces.
Yeah,
that's correct.
They're both fantastic heels. Why are they being kind of these snarky, too good for this match kind of stuff going on when I don't understand it. I feel like it's a waste of time for Grizzled Young Vets. I didn't think they were even a tag team anymore until this week.
Is it a waste of time, or is it a way to legitimize them by beating two genuinely scary guys in Ciampa and Thatcher, and then getting legitimized, and then keeping them out of the tag team picture for a little bit while you do some other things before you send them the titles and have them take the titles?
Sure. Certainly play it that way.
That's what's going to help me sleep at night.
Yeah. Calthrin 100 bits said JB was probably having a fit with Drake Maverick's jeans falling off after the button and belt busted. Credit to Drake wrestling 3/4 of a match at a high level and keeping his buttonless zipper busted. Buttoned.
Yeah.
Buttonless zipper busted beltless pants.
His pants were just open for the second half of this match.
Love the wolf angle in this with him so conflicted and Imperium picking up on it. Especially love the bit with the lineup on the ramp. Yeah. Yep.
Yes. Right. Where Wolf kind of gets left in the back.
Mm-hmm.
The other guy step forward. He's a little out of tune.
Mm.
Yeah. I like that. I'm curious where that's going. Walter's going to have to come in and regulate.
Via Imperium! We do not
What are you
tolerate
doing?
this.
I shall beat you with my gigantic ham-like hands.
Calthrin, another 100 bits, said Zach Gibson to Ciampa. Who throws a shoe? Honestly.
Really? Who throws a shoe? Well, he threw his shoes at him. They reminded everybody, hey, remember shoes off if you hate Zach Gibson? It felt like that's what they were doing. They were introducing Grizzled Young Vets to an American audience. Hey, everybody, this is what we do. And that's the thing. It's so on the nose. It'd be like someone coming out with Keith Lee in the ring and being like, yeah, I know who you are. You're the guy that everyone always sings, oh, bask in his glory. Right? Isn't that what you all do for him? Isn't that what you all do?
Yeah.
It's cueing the crowd. Right?
Yep. Does it work, though, when there's not a crowd?
Right. Exactly. There's no crowd to cue. Who are you telling?
And
the
it
five people
also,
with a PC
Grizzled
in
Young
there?
Vets, that shoes off for Zach Gibson feels like a very UK thing. Like that's the fun kind of stuff that they do in NXT UK and you know Tyler Bay, like that's those kind of chants, those kind of footy chants that they do, the soccer chant, football chants. That's the kind of stuff that it feels very UK, very England.
Doesn't mean it can't translate.
I'm not saying it can't, but it does. You can't shove it down. You can't force people to adopt it, right?
I mean, my shoe's off right now because we're talking about Zach Gibson.
I can smell it from here. Just put your shoe back on.
Why? Fine.
Feet.
It's a sandal anyway. It's California. We wear sandals here. Toni Storm.
I can't remember
Nick,
the last time I put real shoes on. It's been like 14 months.
You've been trapped in your house. I don't even wear shoes. I wear slippers.
Right.
Wear little bunny slippers.
I bought myself a really nice pair of Uggs. I call them man Uggs.
You're admitting to wearing Uggs.
My man,
until
you have slipped your foot into sheep wool, it is divine. It is worth every penny. Ladies, back me up here. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's mostly I wear them to take the dogs out.
What we're learning today, Nick hates Disneyland but loves Uggs.
Yeah.
Just want to line these things up next to each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Nick also loves Toni Storm. She came out to challenge Zoe Stark, and then she beat up Zeta Ramir because Toni had what was going to be a squash match against a rookie to just prove that she was better than Zoe Stark. Then Zoe Stark came out, distracted her. Zeta Ramir did a very scary shooting star press and ended up beating Toni Storm. Toni got beat by a rookie. Oops. Nick was not happy about this.
What the shit is this, Lana?
The thing I like about this is we're seeing Toni's personality. She's not just like cool rocker chick. She's now got a personality. Zoe Stark coming out in tank top, jeans with her arms oiled. She oiled her arms to show off her guns. That's good shit.
Yeah, it is.
That's what it should be for Zoe Stark.
Yeah.
She should come out looking like a brawler from the dark streets of Las Vegas. Yes. Prize fighter. I like that. That's a better gimmick than whatever the creator wrestler thing she had going on before. So all around, yeah. And then again, dude, this doesn't kill Toni in the long run, I don't think, to have her lose to a rookie. It was obviously a fluke. And Ramir did it with a huge move, albeit one she barely pulled off. She almost Brock Lesnar'd herself.
Yeah.
But it was close. But yeah, I'm liking this. What do you think of their presentation of your girl?
I think Toni's always had personality. Like, she's always had a presence. She's had
charisma. Charisma's not personality.
Sure. But have they given her much to work with? Not really. I mean, her and Rhea have always had that kind of chemistry because they came up together, and in NXT UK, they definitely showed some of that. But I don't think she's had the opportunity to do that in NXT here stateside. So I think she's finally getting the chance to do that. Zoe Stark is a great competitor for her. She'll be a great base, make Zoe look like $1 million in the process. And Zoe's going to be a star before we know it. She's going to be at the top of that women's division before we know it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, someone who's already a star is Ember Moon.
Well, hang on, real quick.
Shotzi Blackheart. No.
The one thing I wanted to finish saying there was I feel like what they're setting up now is the feud that we'll see for the NXT Women's Championship maybe a year from now. Beyond Raquel and Dakota. I think they're giving us a little bit of boilerplate stuff here in the beginning to establish. But I think Toni and Zoe are a very real pairing that we could see for the NXT Women's Championship in the next 6 to 12 months.
It depends on who else they bring in and who else they bring up. But yeah, I could see both of them being very high on the card.
Yeah.
I agree. And as I was saying, Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart, they're also high on the card. They're your tag team champions right now. They were supposed to have a match with the Robert Stone brand, but it never happened. Why did it never happen? Because the Way attacked them. Why did the Way attack them? Because
they're dicks.
They're getting flowers and chocolates and presents, apparently from Dexter Lumis. Frankie Monet interrupted them backstage in an interview to read one of the cards on the flowers and said, "Oh, from Dexter Lumis. What do you know?" And Candice LeRae told Indy Hartwell, who was all mopey about Dexter, "Hey, look what he's doing. He's giving flowers to these other girls. Let's go kick their butts."
Yeah.
And Indy was like, "Yeah, let's do that. Because it's totally not you sending those flowers and chocolates to them and trying to make me think that Dexter's making me jealous and you want me to go beat them up and I can't beat them up because I'm so jealous and I'm moping, but this will make me go beat them up for you. So you're not manipulating me like that, Candice, are you? No, I didn't think so. Cool. Let's go kick their butts." And they did. They kicked their butts. They took a vase and broke it over Shotzi Blackheart's head. Or was it Ember's head? One of them got a vase busted over their heads.
A vase.
A vase.
Okay.
Aunt. Schedule. What do you want? Let's go. What did you think about this? Was this too goofy, or are you in on the Way kind of coming back around to Shotzi and Ember in this manner?
I mean, it's at this point you either have to buy into the Way or you have to hate them. Like one of the two. And originally, I didn't get it. I didn't like it. I hated the name. I still think the name is stupid. It's Johnny's a huge nerd and a geek, and he loves the Mandalorians. This is the Way, right? So the Way.
Yes, good.
Good
for him.
Good for him. Yeah, I love that stuff too. I wouldn't name my faction after the Mandalorian.
Why not? It's a great name for a faction.
Just name it Mandalorian. Something like that. Oh, you'll never, from Iron Man, you'll never see me coming. Trevor.
And yes, Esme, aluminium, tomato.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Kyle 300 bid said, "I know this loss set off a wrestling community anger storm with Toni Storm, but to me this is working because we are finally getting the answer to the question, who is Toni Storm? Beyond just a really good wrestler with a cool look. Not having the answer to this question is why Rhea bypassed Toni in NXT UK and then Kaylee Ray after. You get a new girl over with a pretty shooting star press. Toni finally getting to define herself away from a title or title picture is good for her." Completely agree.
100%.
This was not only good for Zoe, not only good for Zeta. This is very good for Toni. Kyle threw another 100 bits in and said, "Why do I feel that Shotzi eagerly raised her hand when the idea of either her or Ember getting glassed to the back of the head came
up?" Because that's just Shotzi.
Yeah, because she's batshit.
And I love it.
And it's amazing.
That's seriously like if you let her, she's gonna do Shane McMahon kind of stunts.
Oh God. I would rather see her do that than Shane, frankly.
I'm here for it.
Thank you, Kyle.
We're getting a street fight between the two of them, two teams next week. I'm here for that. Yep. Let's see. Maybe we'll get our wish. Maybe Shotzi will do some sort of big crazy stunt, and we'll see what it's going to be. Also next week we've got Swerve Scott and Leon Ruff in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Hopefully the blow off for the two of them. And one last thing on NXT: Adam Cole was interviewed by a pool. Apparently, by the way, this was totally unscripted, this interview, and it was awesome. If so,
yep.
He was such a dick. Adam Cole's on another level of dickitude right now, saying he's not going to tell anybody what he's doing next, but NXT is his brand. Karrion Kross doesn't intimidate him. Johnny Gargano's a placeholder. It's still his brand. He's going to do what he wants. And Kyle O'Reilly's an idiot. He got lucky. Kyle O'Reilly, of course, shown in a darkened room, watching the TV, pensively shaking his head. Oh, Adam, you have no idea.
Very clever edit here, too. I don't know if you noticed that, but when they cut away to Kyle watching in the back, they switched the audio really quickly, too, so it sounded like it was coming out of a TV instead of Adam's mic. Yeah, that was slick. That was a really slick edit.
And very simple. It's a very easy trick to do. And very effective. Yeah, very effective episode of NXT overall. But the question we have to answer right now, Nick, is was the go-home show for Blood and Guts effective over on AEW Dynamite?
I am ready.
Uh-oh. Oh,
I am
body
ready for Blood and Guts. Guys, my Markery is about to come out. I'm going to warn you. Uh-oh. I've not had fun watching a weekly wrestling show in a long time like I did watching this week's AEW Dynamite. It is fan-freaking-tastic right now what's going on across the board. I don't know if there was anything that I have to critique negatively about this AEW Dynamite.
Wow.
It is they are so on a different level. I look back at where they were a year ago, going into the pandemic. Moxley is messing around with Inner Circle or is champ, right? Coming off of Jericho's introductory reign. You had Riho and Nyla Rose going, and things were just kind of, They are firing on all 8 cylinders right now in AEW. And I don't know how I could possibly get more hyped up about what's coming in AEW. It was so good this week, guys. And I know I sound like a silly mark. I love NXT too. I'm not picking between my kids. I think they're both great. But they're operating at a different level. And it's very palpable. So if you're not watching AEW, you're missing out on some really good stuff.
Well, Nick, we can tell what side your bread is buttered on right now. My goodness, sir.
Hang on one second. I'm getting a text from Tony Khan. 1 sec.
Oh, good. Yeah, is he sending you some more money?
No, we're good.
Just want to
some
clarify.
Passes to Blood and Guts next week. So.
Oh, okay. So you are sponsored by AEW.
What's that?
Hence,
no, I'm not.
Hence
no,
your
in no way. No.
Okay. It's supposed to be unbiased journalism.
Esme.
Nick.
Oh, Esme did a thing.
What'd she do?
Esme threw in 3,000 bits.
Oh my God. Esme.
This show was fire. That's it. That's my message. You and me, girl.
We approve of this message, Esme.
You and me.
Thank you very much. My damn girl.
Ooh.
All right.
Anna, you might be going. Please take lots of pictures and share them. I think Blood and Guts is going to be one of those sneaky pay-per-view Dynamite episode things, whatever. I don't know what that word is. What do we call these events that...
A very special episode of Dynamite.
God, it's going to be good. Anyway.
Let's talk
break
about
it down for us, because I might just get a little bit too excited.
Because, the main match is going to be a Blood and Guts match between the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle. They had a parlay. There was a parlay between the Inner Circle and the Pinnacle. They all met face-to-face in the middle of the ring. Tony Schiavone pretty much became irrelevant right off the bat because Sean Spears snatched the mic. And then Sammy snatched the mic from him, and Mike's just got passed around. Mike's just appeared. And everyone was running their mouths and everybody else. First, Sean Spears ran his mouth, and Sammy Guevara said, "You can have the advantage. We don't care. We're not flipping no damn coin. You can have the advantage in this match. I'll go in first. I don't care. I'll kick all your asses. You were a failure here. You're a failure at the company you came from, Sean Spears. Jeez, just use a shovel next time, Sammy. God. Could you at least make sure he's dead before you bury him? We heard from Dax. He piped up. He said that Santana and Ortiz are just Jericho's lapdogs now. Remember when they were a good tag team?
What happened to you guys? You guys used to be good. You used to be brutal and mean. Shout out to LAX. Love it.
He's not wrong, but at the same time, he crossed a line when he brought up their kids. He said, that's right, kiss your kids goodbye and tell them something from old Uncle Dax. Daddy ain't coming home.
Oh,
Santana wanted to jump, and he had to be held back. He said, that's all right. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to talk with my fists. Threw it down. Good stuff, Santana. And then we got to the main guys, MJF and Chris Jericho. MJF getting up in Chris Jericho's face and saying, thank you, Chris. AEW wouldn't exist without you. You're the guy who brought everybody here, but Heavy wears the crown. Must be really tough. We can see your eyes are bloodshot all the time. You're tired. That's the vodka and champagne,
right,
Sammy. Or MJF. We can tell you're tired. We want you to give up your spot. We want you to let us be at the very top. And we're going to beat it out of you at Blood and Guts. And it's Jericho's turn. And he says, you little shit. You can't make us tap out. You can't beat us. You have to kill us to take my spot. There's no such thing as taking my spot. I earned my spot. You talk about being a big deal in AEW at 25 and I was curtain jerking WCW. That's right. I'd been main eventing Mexico and Japan before that, kid. I earned everything that I've got. Something you know nothing about because you earned your trust fund at 18. Big words from both sides here, Nick. What did you think of so? And then it ended like that. No fists flung, just big words getting thrown, and that was that. What did you think about the parlay segment? Was it too weak, or did it excite you enough for this match?
Oh, it was not too weak at all. Oh, I'm so in. I want to see. I
Was
want
it
to
too
see what
similar?
they do with it. Like, what is a blood and guts match with 17 dudes going to look like? Like, is this
17?
I'm exaggerating. You know, it looked like there were 320 guys in the ring.
It's
The way that they
5-on-5.
did the camera angle, almost.
It's War Games.
I get it. Was it like 3 rings stuck together or something?
It's two
rings.
Two rings. Yeah. 2 rings. Enter at 5-minute intervals. It's freaking War Games.
And we love war games.
Yes.
I have no reservations about this match. Put it in my eye holes. I can't wait for Wednesday to get here.
And this is a War Games where they can bleed.
Oh God, yes.
I'm gonna throw that out there too.
All the Crimson Masks. Everybody bleeds.
And that is exciting. Yeah, everyone just sharing blood.
Dustin Rhodes is somehow going to figure out how to get involved so he can bleed.
So here's my problem with this, Nick. I still don't feel like Pinnacle's a threat. And Inner Circle got the last word on virtually everything in this confrontation. So they go home feeling stronger. They felt stronger ever since they came back from the beatdown that Pinnacle gave them when they debuted. Pinnacle has not had a get-over moment since then. If Pinnacle loses the Blood and Guts match,
which they're not.
You think Pinnacle's winning?
I think Pinnacle's absolutely winning.
Okay. They have to,
Yes.
in my opinion. They're dead on
That's
arrival
why.
if you don't put them over here.
Yep.
You have to put them over here. You have to put them over. Inner Circle's had its time. They can come back. You've got to make Pinnacle the top heels in the company.
Or you can split them off and have LAX go for the tag titles. Or you can have Jake Hager
Right.
go find a big fight Brian Cage for the FTW. You
Have
can do
them all
so many different
rebuild.
things.
Yes.
Inner Circle's been around for over a year now. It's cool.
They've been around since the beginning of AEW, 2.5, 3 years almost. So it's time. Let Pinnacle be a big deal. One of the biggest problems with AEW booking is the faces win too often, too quickly. And it's something that we're going to talk about in this next segment as well, where the faces get their big moments and they win too quickly. If Inner Circle wins at Blood and Guts, it will be an absolute shame and another example of that bad trope, the one major bad trope in AEW booking.
Kyle throwing 100 bits said, "Garr, curse the scallywags, whoever put up parlay."
Yeah, right. Parlay? Oh, all hype, parlay. Jericho said it actually was he was inspired by Game of Thrones and Pirates of the Caribbean to do this bit.
Nice.
So
Kyle threw in another 100 bits. Says Shawn Spears and Pinnacle, so we know how AEW handles anything with him and having to win things.
I swear to God, if Pinnacle does lose, I might blame Shawn Spears. He might be cursed.
Might be.
He might be
If he
cursed.
went underwater, he would turn into a skeleton, Or he went out in moonlight. That's what it was.
Yeah, if you have to go out under the moon. Yeah. He's underwater. He can walk underwater.
That's right.
But
it's the moonlight that made him change. Right.
He feels nothing. Better hope he feels nothing because that match is going to hurt.
Oh, boy.
But not as much as it hurt QT Marshall at the end of the match between the Nightmare Family and the Factory. It was Billy Gunn, Shotty Lee Johnson, and Dustin Rhodes versus QT Marshall, Nick Camarado, and Aaron Solo. Ended with, of course, Anthony Ogogo outside throwing some big body blows, taking out a couple of dudes.
We got to talk about QT rolling up in Cody's bus.
Well, we do need to talk about that because after the match, he got jumped by Billy Gunn's kids. And with a beautiful Luthez press and then a beautiful drop kick. Yo! Nice job, boys. He scampers up the ramp trying to escape all the confusion while there's all the chaos in the ring. He escapes up the ramp back to Cody's bus, only to find Cody in the bus behind the door, very visible as we come up to it, jumps out, chases QT onto the top of the bus because, when you're running from a guy, the first thing you think is, I need the higher ground.
Right. I'm going to climb this bus.
I'm going to climb a bus. And then we have QT put into the figure 4 on the top of the bus while Aubrey, who bless her heart got up there with them, is screaming at Cody, stop it! Stop it, Cody. Cody's shirtless. He's all, he's jacked. Cody's back. And he's already beaten up QT Marshall. What was I just saying about the faces getting their comeback moments so quickly? Yep. Every time they come back, they get a big win on the heels. And so we'll probably get something next week with them. I actually know we are. We're getting, I think Cody versus QT is next week. Again, my question, should Cody win?
He probably will.
Which he does. He comes back and wins. That's how he got the TNT title back. Brody Lee goes on a tear, comes back, first thing, Cody beats him. QT needs to win this. Keep Factory hot. Keep them a legitimate faction. QT loses this, it's over. That's it. His whole point's gone.
I figure with Camarado and Solo out there, he's probably not going to lose, though.
Or a go-go.
Yep.
I hope that shenanigans. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a tainted victory. Don't give your faces the immediate comeback victory. Let it play it out.
Yeah.
Keep it in your pants, AEW.
Yep.
Keep it in
Cody
your
will
damn
always
pants.
be somewhat relevant in AEW. We don't need to have him win all the time everything.
Yeah, no. Cody very much learned from Randy Orton. He just can't keep it in his pants. But
hang on one second. Esme threw in 1,000 bits.
Oh my goodness!
You guys are on a tear tonight. Thank you so much, Esme. Billy can still get it, she says. Dude, Billy Gunn's jacked, and he's still running around like he's 30.
What is he? 57?
He's got to be almost
56?
60.
He's in amazing condition.
He was 30 when he was coming out with Road Dogg.
Yeah. Mental.
It's insane that dude's still running around looking like he is. I hope I look anywhere near that good in 20 years when I'm 60.
Road Dogg's heart is exploding, and he's in the hospital. He looks like death warmed over. Billy Gunn's out here looking not that much different than he looked 30 years ago.
Somehow bigger.
Yeah, right, bigger. Still is jacked.
Somehow that dude is bigger than he was during the Attitude Era.
Stands next to his sons, and you feel like they just kind of grew on him like polyps.
Right. And they just they thumped them off, and they were growths.
He just picked them off and let them germinate.
Right. Thank you, Esme.
Thank you very much, Esme. Someone else who is a fully grown man, Hangman Page, got beat up by an even more fully grown man, Brian Cage. Page got jumped by Team Taz before this match. This kicked off the show. Big scuffle at the top of the ring. All of Dark Order came out to help chase off Team Taz. Taz on commentary for this match. And Hangman never really got out of the stocks after that. Every time he had to come back, Cage had an answer for it. And ultimately, I can't believe I'm saying this, Brian Cage puts down the #1 contender to the AEW Heavyweight Championship, Hangman Page gets pinned by Brian Cage.
What?
Wow. Shocking.
I was watching that Wednesday night late, and I was doing my thing where I was doing something on my main monitor, but I had it going over here. And the whole time while I was trying to do stuff on my main monitor, I just couldn't take my eyes off this thing. So I took my eyes off of it for 1 second, and I heard the 3 count after his big power bomb, I think is what it was. And I just went, what? You actually put Brian Cage over Hangman Adam Page. Wow. Okay, so maybe they finally have plans for Brian Cage to do something with him? Does that automatically make him the number 1 contender if you beat the number 1 contender? That wouldn't make a lot of sense.
It doesn't. It's still all wins, losses. Cage is still, I think, fairly high on the list, but it does knock Hangman out of contention. What I love about this is that this means that what happens now with Hangman? He was right there. They made a big deal out of it. They kept making a big deal. He's number 1 contender. For a couple of weeks, we've heard he's right there.
Yep.
Now he's not. That's perfect for his story.
Yep. And end around comeback story, the chase, It's exactly what we need.
Love it. And frankly, I wouldn't be mad if this was an ongoing thing. Look, we were saying before, it's too soon for Hangman to go for Kenny, for their story. So having something like this happen, and I think we're all we're used to the regular rhythms of weekly wrestling shows where they spend a lot of time building somebody up and they just put them right towards the champ, because to have them rise and then fall and then rise again and then fall, it takes too long. But they're making sure that Hangman's story is really long term. They're taking their time with it. So for that, this kind of booking is perfect. Brian Cage needed a big win. He needed a big win. This is huge. This is right up there with MSK and Kushida losing to Legado de Fantasma for me, for upset victories that I thought were 100% the right call.
Totally.
1,000% the right call. And honestly, it made me want to see Page and Cage again.
Because it was a hell of a match, too.
It was great. So yeah, what does Cage do now? Now
Everything.
He's got his new legitimacy.
Everything.
We had Christian and Taz still jawing each other backstage. You think Christian's gonna have Cage versus Cage?
Maybe he takes that FTW championship off of Cage somehow, and Cage can go chase Kenny. I don't know.
I wouldn't mind that. I mean, now Cage has all kinds of energy coming out of this.
Yep. And he's been teasing the face turn anyway. So execute on that. Go after Kenny. Good Lord, what a monstrous match that would be.
True. That's what a bit of Nick booking, and I don't want to see Cage go and lose another big match. I want to see him go on a bit of a winning streak.
Sure. I can get behind that.
So, and having Christian put him over, I think would be really cool. Yeah. So, but I like it. I like seeing. I really want to see what Hangman's reaction is. Does he go get drunk, fall into a funk, go on a losing streak for a while, fall out of favor, and then have to build himself back up again?
He does an Okada. After Okada lost, he went and did the Rockstar thing, right? And he just lost everything.
Hangman starts coming out with balloons.
Right.
I'm all for it.
Yes.
Comes out with like little horsey balloons, like little aluminum kind of horse-shaped balloons,
right.
My horsey. Drinking his drink. Darby Allin is your main event. Again. Again. He's your main event. Again.
This guy's just putting on main event matches week after week after week.
He is defending his TNT championship this week against 10 from the Dark Order,
who I had not given enough credit to how jacked or
Preston
how good
Vance.
he was.
I've been telling you since day one.
Woo.
Day one, Preston came into this. I'm like, this guy is good. He's underrated, and he's a house. But it's just he was standing next to Brody the entire time, so no one looks like a house next to Brody. Right. But he's the biggest guy in Dark Order. These boys went out and had this. I loved this. You had Preston acting as the big strong guy, and Darby just trying to hang on,
throwing everything in the kitchen sink at him to try and get it to him.
If there's one thing that Darby is an absolute master at, it's playing the little guy in the big fight and being the biggest, like the biggest small dog in the fight.
Yeah.
And this was an example of that. The one question I have for you here, Nick, is Darby, like you said, he threw everything out there. He was ripping his mask. He was eye gouging. He was biting, clawing, everything. Was it too much? Was it too much? Was it too heelish? Or did it underscore that Darby will goddamn do anything to win? You cannot kill this kid.
That. Absolutely that. And just trying to, I look at those things as trying to stagger. He's trying to knock him out of his rhythm. He's trying to do anything he can to get an opportunity to take him out. And I don't see it as a heelish tactic. It can be interpreted that way, sure, but I saw it as he is having to compensate for his size, and we can get behind that, right? We recognize that he's half the size of Preston, of 10. And it's anything he needs to do to get an advantage. And not in a heelish, dickish way when I say that. Like, not sneaking brass knucks into the ring, right? Not trying to sneak any kind of weapon or have the ref get distracted or anything. No, he's just going right at him, clawing at his eyes, just defending himself, defending his title. I love that. I think that is what makes Darby Darby. So, no, I don't think it's heelish at all. I absolutely loved this. I loved the match with Matt Hardy. Everything Darby is doing right now as the TNT champion is so money. And how did this kid get so overlooked for so long? And I'm so glad they picked him up.
Because he's tiny.
He's tiny,
relatively speaking.
And he's kind of got that outsider look, that alternative emo look.
But to his credit, like they gave him the ball. They put the brass ring there, to bring that up. And this is like the prime example of a dude grabbing a proverbial brass ring and holding on to it. And it's ironic because the guy who's gunning for him is the guy who actually won the brass ring tournament or competition ladder match, was Scorpio Sky. Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page get involved in this match as well, trying to affect the outcome. Sting chases him off. Sting chased off Dark Order, who were trying to get involved in the match. Yeah. And then behind his back, Ethan Page tries to take out Darby. Darby's able to come back. Scorpio Sky takes out Sting at the end of the whole thing. And then Page and Sky run off when Lance Archer, strangely enough, comes out to the rescue along with 10. The other thing I thought you'd like about this, Nick, was there was at the end, sportsmanship. They hugged it out. Even though Darby clawed and bit through the whole match, almost ripped his mask off, they hugged it out at the end. Just good stuff all around. But what is going on with everyone else who's kind of circling around this title right now? Lance Archer, Sting, Scorpio Sky, Page. Is it too undefined, or is it lending the right amount of chaos to this, or does it just feel unfocused?
Well, it's what we talked about 3 weeks ago with how many factions are going on right now in AEW, and how that adds just an entirely different dynamic to Dynamite every week. So we see they're coming out to protect their own, right? And that's all I see it as. But you've got the outliers like Lance Archer, who really is unaffiliated. You got Scorpio Sky coming out because he thinks he needs to figure out a way to elevate himself, and he thinks it's through doing these dastardly tactics and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm not mad at this at all. We both just completely love all of the factions that are going on. And that's all I really think it is. Scorpio Sky. What are we going to do with Lance Archer and Sting? I don't know. Sting obviously is in Darby's corner, and he's there to ward off any kind of, him and the Bat are there to ward off any would-be interrupters or distractors. But yeah, the whole Dark Order sportsmanship thing at the end, I love that.
I just hope they have a plan for it. Right now, it doesn't feel like there's a plan. There's no direction, and that's what worries me. But you brought up factions. Speaking of factions, Best Friends and Death Triangle, two factions, two groups having a bit of a spat held over from last year, delayed, but now we're getting it. Ray Phoenix beat Chucky T over on Dark last night, and tonight we had Pentagon Jr. versus Orange Cassidy in a very fun match. A little bit of comedy, a little bit of hard-hittedness, some lucha. It was good stuff all around. The opening of this match
it made me pine for the indies.
It was a very indie opening. With Pentagon,
the first 5 minutes of this match
versus the
Cero Miedoing and him trying to put his hands in, or Cassidy trying to put it, nope, and he would stop him, and then just taking the time to finger by finger taking his glove off to really give him the Cero Miedo. I just so good. I felt like I was in a bingo hall watching an indie match. It was this is so, and it's always been the question
In
with
the best
AEW,
way.
right?
In the best
Can this stuff work on a major promotion with guys that are just sort of way out of the box?
Well, and this is the thing. It's Orange Cassidy's bread and butter.
Yep.
And Pentagon can go do everything from, huge arena shows to little indie shows. His style is very malleable. But, the thing that we were worried about with Orange Cassidy was once his gimmick gets exposed, once we all know what it is, will it continue to be endearing or will it get old? Will the meme get boring? And I got to say, he's evolved his character now so that all of his shtick is now almost intentionally to pop the audience, and then he just doesn't even, like, we all know he can wrestle, so he doesn't make us wait for it. He goes right into wrestling. Yeah. And that's the right thing to do. It's a guy who's using the shtick to mess with his opponents, but he can go. And the way that he's evolved it is brilliant. I love that it's a smart gimmick to begin with, but it's very smart how he's evolved it into a guy who, likes to be kind of a slob and sloth, whatever, but then at the same time can really just hang with pretty much anybody. Yeah. And this match was awesome. It went pretty much the way you expect, with Abrahantes getting in and trying to distract Orange Cassidy, and it kind of works, but then Orange Cassidy ends up, while the ref's distracted, getting the microphone and smacking Pentagon in the head with an orange punch. 1, 2, 3, Pentagon goes down. A nice little inversion of what's been going on with Abrahantes in the past few weeks. But is this the ultimate problem with this? Is that Best Friends is a team where they're very ironic, right? All of them are very ironic. And Death Triangle's a team where they're very, very, for the most part, serious and intense. Yep. But Best Friends, historically, I've found, for me, Nick, and tell me if it's the same for you, their feuds, because they're so ironic and laconic and, sort of like, well, we don't really, whatever. We're more interested in being funny. They very rarely get serious, and when they do, you can't tell if they're being silly or not. You can't tell if they're being serious entirely. It's hard to build heat in their feuds. Yeah. It's hard to feel like there's real intensity or real anger between anybody, right? Like, Abrahantes brings up that he insulted Trent's mom last week, and Trent just kind of sits there and looks at him and goes, "You're kind of a dick, dude." Whereas last week it made him almost lose a match. Made him lose a match. Yeah. So do you feel like that's like a baked-in problem with Best Friends, is that they can't really get into intense feuds because the very nature of their gimmick undercuts it?
I hadn't thought about it that way before. I've for the most part with Best Friends, it's Chucky T and Trent Beretta. Like, we've been along with those guys for years now, and I'm kind of along for the ride. Just throw Cassidy in there too, and now we've got Chris Statlander. Cool, you've got all the weirdos, like, all in the same kind of faction together. And I'll admit, I enjoy the shtick. I enjoy them being there. I enjoy the Sue pulling up in her minivan. I like all of this stuff. So I'm along for the ride. I don't know that I really have an opinion on that yet. If it just keeps going this way and they never end up contending for anything, and they just end up being good hands that are fun workers, I think the future is very bright for Chris Statlander. You guys know I've thought that for a long time. It's a shame she lost 9 months to the knee injury.
Knee, yeah.
We'll talk about her match in just a second, but I mean, I'm not too bent out of shape about it. Are you finding that you're not enjoying Best Friends, or whether it's singles or group or tag matches, because of that?
I enjoy them a lot, but it's something where I feel like it's a detriment.
You're worried about their kind of future?
I'm worried about their longevity. Yeah. I'm worried about we said, they may never be champions, but I think part of that's because they'll never feel like they can hold a regular main event, because they don't feel like they can get main event intensity until you get to the actual match. Obviously, their street fight was incredible, right? The parking lot brawl
with
incredible match.
LAX, whoever, Santana Ortiz.
And that was kind of a hit or miss build, where sometimes it felt more intense than others. And they finally got there, but it took a lot. It took a lot, and I'm not feeling it yet with Death Triangle. And they have every reason to have already been.
I do agree with your assessment, though. They just feel like kind of goofy guys that are also really good wrestlers, versus Death Triangle, who are like hyper intense and are just there to murder people. That's what and Phoenix is going to be flying around everywhere. Like that's what I feel about Death Triangle, and I think your assessment's spot on. I'm just saying I'm not mad at Best Friends being that. I'm not mad at Death Triangle being that. I think it's personality, it's presence, it's identity. And until that becomes, like you said, until that becomes detrimental to them, yeah, go for it. I'm having a good time. The Trent putting a question mark at the end of his name, that's just weird, man. Like I don't get it.
That's the most dad thing you've said in a while.
Yeah.
But you brought up personality, and one thing that I like is that Chris Statlander's starting to show off more of it now. I feel like she is a little bit clearer about what she is. And she had a match with Penelope Ford. They've obviously had beef since she came back and threw a giant piece of plastic into Penelope's face when she busted out of the alien claw machine thing. And this was a very nice little match for the women's match on the show. Very nice little match. Penelope pulling out some moves I haven't seen her pull out before.
Penelope can go, guys. She gets a strong base in there like Chris. She can go.
Slingshot knees to the guts. I liked it.
Yep.
And Chris, of course, was the powerhouse in this. This was a slobber knocker of a match, and it was a women's match. Awesome. Statlander doing some big heavy lifting in this match, including at one point she's just spinning poor Penelope around in the air to different, like transitioning her around. Great stuff.
Statlander's got a 450 splash, and they haven't let her use it yet.
She's got a few things in the tank they haven't let her use.
Go watch some of her indie matches. There's a reason she was the hottest women's prospect for a couple of years.
A minute.
Yep.
Yeah. I love the new face paint that she's got going on with the one contact lens. I think it's a better look than her old like dots and lines.
She's still got the dots over like one eyebrow or something like that.
Yeah, but it works better now.
Yeah.
I tend to like in character design when things are offset, they're not linear, right? They're not balanced. It makes character design more interesting. So she's definitely got that going on. And this was a great way to reintroduce people to her. I'm curious to see what they have planned next for her. All I know is that what's coming next for Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford is not a lot of fun. Kip found Miro in the back waiting for him. They haven't talked in a while. This was like a scene out of a movie, Nick. This was like a scene out of a gangster film. Miro's just back there topless, jacked, swole up, glistening in this back locker room in front of one of those like the pull-up sheet metal doors, and just pounces Kip like a rabid dog and starts throwing him into this metal thing like, I'm not waiting for you anymore. I'm not waiting for my title shot. I want it now. And you're holding me back. You're making me wait. Threw him into a locker and started to punch him in the head. Brought him over the door and was like, now it's the debt is paid. And he put his arm in the door and he slams the door in the arm, breaks Kip's arm. And then he kind of gets in and hugs him and he goes, all right, we're all good now. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. And he takes off. What? Yes. Oh, where has this been? Where has this been? You can't tell me that when they brought in Miro as the best man and had the whole stupid like Eurotrash gamer gimmick that he had when he came into this thing, that this was what they had planned. That didn't work. Fail fast, pivot, and make Miro a killer. Make him a psychopath like this. Yes.
Thank you for reminding me. I got to text Tony real quick and just let him know that, yes, more please.
Yes, would you let Tony Khan know?
More please, yes.
More Miro?
Dear Lord.
Momo Miro.
Just all
more
of this Miro. Absolute screw loose maniac monster, yes. Oh, just
murder his friends.
Yes.
I don't care. I don't care if you're a goody guy, if you're a bad guy. I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to destroy all of you. I'm coming for you. You got gold around your waist. I want it around mine. Coming for you.
I'll take that belt off your waist and rip out your goddamn spine. SB threw in 100 bits, said it gave me Eastern Promises vibes.
Yes.
Little Viggo Mortensen reference there.
Little Cronenberg, Mortensen. They're doing a new movie together. Can't wait. Ooh. Finally, the Elite drama continues. The Young Bucks The Young Bucks had a match with the Sydal brothers. The Young Bucks are doing all kinds of heel shit in that ring. They are prancing around. They're imitating Macho Man. The little Nakamura saw there at one point. They're imitating everybody, being goofballs, dressed like Seth. They've got Seth Rollins' jacket, his fuzzy leather jacket on.
Rollins even tweeted about it.
They got the danglies in their
Did you
ears.
see that? Rollins made a meme out of it and tweeted it.
Yep. He said, hey, the forbidden door is open for my jacket, apparently. Good stuff. And the end of this match, I'll be goddamned if they didn't imitate Johnny Cage. Matt Jackson goes into a splits and punches Matt Sydal in the nuts. You know, I thought I was sick with dick punches ever since the AJ Styles and Nakamura feud. Welcome back to the dick punch. If you're going to do it like Johnny Cage at a time when everyone's trying to be Johnny Cage, even though the Mortal Kombat movie just came out, guys, it just happened. You missed it, Miz. Everybody's missed it.
Hey, do you want to weigh in on it? Did you see it yet?
I haven't seen it yet. I'm sorry. I've had to watch wrestling.
It's a lot of fan service.
I've had to do my job.
Yeah.
Job. I've had to do my job. Trying to do my job, Nick. We're getting punchier, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it's the end of the show. It's a good time.
At the end of this match, out comes SCU to say, "You guys make us sick. We thought you were our best friends, but now it's realized you're just pieces of crap. And we said we were going to break up if we ever lost. Well, tell you what, we're coming for you. We're number one contenders, and we're going to put our careers together as a tag team on the line against you. Coming soon." Nick, it's coming true. What did we say? Right when SCU announced that, when the Bucks won the titles, we went, there it is. There it is. The Bucks are killing SCU. It's coming, baby. It's coming, and that's mwah. You know what? We've said it before. We'll say it again. It's one of those things that's so universally true. It doesn't have to not be predictable to be amazing. You can know it's coming, and if it gives you exactly what you want, then that's great too.
Yep. Frankie Kaz and Christopher Daniels can still cut some of the best promos out there. They're so good. And they were so money in this spot. And just reminding everybody, because if you haven't been paying attention, there's so much going on AEW over the last couple of months that if you haven't been paying attention, you might have forgotten about that they made that stipulation to themselves. So I love that they come out and they go, hey, remember us? Remember what we said? We're coming.
All we got to do is win this Fatal 4-Way match next week. It's them versus the acclaimed Jurassic Express and Varsity Blondes. If they win that, which they will, then they will go on to become the number one contenders. Contenders. And they will have that match.
I just be reminded the licking his bicep. Just oh God. There was not one thing on Dynamite this week, guys. I have watched it twice. I cannot remember the last time I've watched a weekly wrestling show back-to-back twice.
Wow.
I watched Dynamite twice this week, trying to find something to be upset about.
So it means you watched twice. You watched Eddie Kingston have a match with Nakazawa, and I call it a match very loosely. Nakazawa is sitting in a corner. He gets told by Kenny. Eddie wants Kenny. Kenny goes, no, you get the goons. You get Nakazawa. Nakazawa's in there with his laptop and his headset on, sitting on a chair in the corner of the ring like, what am I doing here? Eddie comes out and goes, nah. I want Kenny. What are you doing in here? I want Kenny, not you. And while he's distracted, Nakazawa gets up, hits him in the back with the laptop. Out comes Kenny to gloat about this. Moxley comes out after him tosses Brandon Cutler on the floor, grabs Kenny. They take him in the ring, threaten to break his ankle. Callis comes out and guarantees them a tag match, Nakazawa and Kenny versus Moxley and Kingston next week. So they don't break Kenny's ankle. And this is, of course, after what you're referring to, when they're all in a limo together, trying to say that they weren't scared or intimidated by Moxley and Kingston, which is a very fun segment, too, with a lot of bicep licking and danglies. But, yeah, overall, fantastic AEW show this week. Great go-home episode. And next week, we're going to have the big old Blood and Guts episode.
I can't wait.
Great stuff all around. And overall, a very good week of wrestling, Nick. But that leads us, unless we have any catching up to do.
No, we're good.
Well, then that leads us to our final segment of the evening. A little something we like to call our moment of positivity.
Mop, 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 mop.
The mop. The moment of positivity. That's right. It's the time on the show we talk about something that happened that made us happy over the last few days. A little way to cleanse the palate, head back out with a smile on our face and some warmth in our hearts. Nick, what was your moment of positivity for this last week?
Can I just say AEW Dynamite? Can I just say how they absolutely nailed a go-home show?
It's our show. We can do whatever we want. So
I can do what I want. Whatever. I do what I want. It's tough. There was a lot of good stuff that happened on NXT and AEW this week. I definitely could call out Tony's match with Zeta and the interactions with Zoe Stark. That is looking very, very good. After tonight, I'm very excited at the somewhat realistic possibility that Daniel Bryan could come down to NXT before riding off into the sunset and have some matches. That has me hyped, even if it's my own Nick booking. I tend to get excited about my own stuff.
Just don't be disappointed if it doesn't happen.
Well, I'm going to be, I'm totally going to be my wrestling mad if it doesn't happen, right?
Yeah, right. Why didn't they do what I wanted them to do? I thought they listened to our show.
If I had to pick one thing for the week, I absolutely loved the parlay segment of the two guys and the mic skills that were exhibited across what seemed like 20 different dudes, all in the ring together. And the framing of the shot of the camera was really good as well because it made them look bigger than life. It made them look like it was almost like a hero shot from below, like almost lower a little bit.
That's what I think Jericho was producing about it was the shot itself. I'm kind of sad he cut off Tully Blanchard though, man. I would love to hear Tully cut a little something there.
I think Tully was just trying to pull them away and try to corral them to get out of the ring or something like that. And then Jericho was like, no, you wait.
Don't you let me finish my promo.
How about you, Surrey and Dangerous? What was yours?
Mine was smart booking. Having the faces lose sometimes. Having Kushida and MSK lose in the main event, straight up. Having Hangman Page more or less lose straight up. Yes, there was some shenanigans outside the ring. Yes, there was some beatdown before the Hangman Page match. But you know what? They lost. They had opportunities to have babyface comebacks, and they didn't. They lost. And that's good because it makes the heels look good, and you need strong heels in order to have babyfaces beat them. That's smart booking.
It is.
And I only hope that it carries through to next week on Blood and Guts because they have opportunities to have babyfaces win, and they shouldn't win all the time. They shouldn't win feuds really quickly. Let the heels be heels for a long time. Let the heels win for a long time, and then when the good guys win, it feels so much better. They did that this week. That is my moment of positivity.
Kyle threw in 100 bits, said, my mop this week is Valkyrie versus Mako Satomura. Loved that match. Not going to spoil the result for either of you. I've not. I usually watch it tonight after the show. Thank you for not doing that. Mako, let's see. But seeing Valkyrie match, Mako on technical after being a striker high flyer in her time in NXT UK was such a treat. It sucks. TakeOver Dublin got canceled because the talent there, outside of Zaya, who's on my list this week for Outside the Ring issues, absolutely deserves a big event right now, and the next 3 weeks are stacked from the looks of things. Yeah, I'm trying to keep up as best as I can, but I too think it sucks that Dublin got canceled. He also threw in another 100 bits. Not sure if you guys touched on it, but what were your thoughts on what the Diamond Mine could be on NXT?
Someone we might not have seen before.
Now, there's all of this stuff going around about Tessa tweeted something with a diamond in it. I don't know.
Yeah,
we've got people. We've got SE Scoops. You know, one short half step away from Ringside News saying that Tessa's all but signed with and Daga all but signed with AEW.
I can't see that happening. I mean, there's a possibility they could bring Tess over there. They did try with Evilise. They tried with Evilise despite her past issues. Tessa's got past issues with people in that company too. But her dad's there, so I don't know. I'm not willing to bet one way or the other on that. And same with WWE.
Yeah, I agree.
left a lot of bad taste in a lot of people's mouths last year.
Yep.
Around this time. So
Yep.
I don't know if it's Tessa, but
Hang tight, guys. We're going to do a raid after. We're going to go say hi to Penelope Ford. She's online.
well, alrighty then.
Well, that's the show, guys. Thank you very much for hanging with us. A huge shout out. Kyle, you blew us away tonight, man. Thank you for all the generosity. Abe,
Thank you,
Esme, all of you guys. Shout out to
Esme,
everybody watching over on
guys,
YouTube
Abe,
and
thank you.
Facebook. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Brilliant shows.
Everyone hanging in the chat, man. Everyone who's hanging in the
just
chat tonight.
everybody.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you
for
so
chilling
much.
with us, as always.
Linktree.com/BWO. Go like, follow, share, subscribe, all those things. Big shout out to all the patrons. Don't forget your bonus episode is up. I did put both an audio version and the full video version up there on Patreon for you guys. So make sure you check it out. I promise the video is much better than the audio if you get the chance to watch it. But should I do a little bit more?
No, dude, I was just calming
A little
down.
bit more PTSD.
I was just starting to relax.
But it's so
The
fun.
muscles were coming. Oh, it's not. I'm sweating again. Damn it.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Hang tight. We'll be back after the outro. We'll jump back on and we'll go do a raid on Penelope Ford. Make sure everybody congratulates her and tells her what an awesome match she had with Chris this week. Yeah, until next time, my name is Nick Howell. You can find me on Twitter at Data Center Dude.
I am Sir Ian Dangerous. You can find me on Twitter at Sir Ian Dangerous.
But by God!
Somebody stop the damn match!
This show is part of the Orbital Jigsaw Network. For more episodes, subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher Radio. For details and show notes from each episode, check us out, orbitaljigsaw.com.
All right, we're back.
Hey-o.
All right. Let's see.
Ugh.
Here, dashboard.
That music. Ugh.
Yeah. You want...
Ugh.
Now that I know it messes with you.
You son of a bitch. I'm going to hold my shoe up again.
Hang tight, guys.
Yeah, right here, Nick. Right there,
Right.
buddy. It's all sticky. Bastard.
Make sure I spell this right. Penelope Ford. All right, make sure you shout BWO, throw up all of our emojis, say hi, say awesome match with Chris this week. Thank you guys for a great show.
Love you guys.
Y'all have a good one.
Thank you very much.
See you guys on Tuesday.
See you soon.